I go any further, allow me to pause and on behalf of Jordan, offer my heartfelt condolences for the tragic loss of life in the holy city of Varanasi earlier this week. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families, and all of India at this very sad time. As many of you know, Jordan too suffered a similar atrocity late last year. One of my enduring memories is the courage and resilience of the Jordanian people and the way in which they got back to business almost immediately. Today in India, I am proud to see similar strength and determination, and I am delighted that the conclave is continuing as planned. With that in mind, let me say it is a real pleasure to be here with you all tonight. I would especially like to thank Mr. Prabhu Chawla and the dynamic team at India Today for organizing such a wonderful dinner. I'm a big fan of Indian food, so I'm going to try to talk fast so that we can eat soon. In 1896, the American writer Mark Twain spent 3 months in India, traveling by train from Mumbai to Kolkata to Delhi and beyond. Twain was touring the world, but no other place made as magical an impression. As he later wrote, "Nothing has been left undone, either by man or nature, to make India the most extraordinary country that the sun visits on its round." And of Indians he declared, "One thing is sure, they are much the most interesting people in the world." More than a century later, as a first-time visitor myself, I fully understand Twain's enthusiasm. It is impossible not to be drawn in by your captivating land, the color, culture, costumes, cuisine, and most of all, the spirit of confidence. Your economy is booming. Your IT sector is on the cutting edge of the cutting edge. Your movies, your music, your literature, even yoga are claiming their hold on world culture. As this conclave itself clearly illustrates, modern India is on the move. And even though Delhi is many miles from Amman, I feel a sense of familiarity. In part, it is because of the warm hospitality I have received since the moment I arrived. But it is also because I believe our nations share a similar spirit, one that is driven by optimism and openness towards the world. Both India and Jordan have storied pasts, yet we do not fear the future. We believe we can harness the best of both without compromising either. On Delhi streets, I have seen zabjiwalas with cell phones. In Amman, you will find shepherds with satellite dishes. Our countries have shown that we can reach out to the world and embrace what modernity offers without losing our grip on the culture and customs that make us who we are. Perhaps our shared openness stems from the fact that we both have youthful societies. Roughly 1 in 3 of your citizens, like ours, is under the age of 15. Young Indians and Jordanians represent a tremendous wellspring of talent and drive, and helping them reach their fullest potential is our greatest opportunity and obligation. Jordan, like India, deeply values knowledge, education, and learning. We too want to foster an environment in which our people's creativity can bloom. So even though Jordan may be a small hamlet next to India's mega metropolis, we welcome India's emergence as a great world power for the 21st century, because we believe you have a key role to play in shaping the future we share. After all, this great country has long held a claim on the world's imagination. Your struggle for independence and your stand for social justice inspired some of the 20th century's most powerful movements for peace. Of course, I do not presume to paint a perfect picture of India. I know that, like Jordan, you have many challenges to overcome. And also, like Jordan, you are making good progress in surmounting them. But now, with your growing global prestige and your dazzling economic performance, you have captured not simply the world's imagination, but its rapt attention as well. India is everywhere, as anyone who attended the World Economic Forum in Davos can attest. Today, you have an historic opportunity and ability to influence other nations. But I respectfully submit that with that ability comes a special responsibility. At a time when other global powers are preoccupied with their own challenges, India can lead in bridging the divides that have held too much of the world back for too long. After all, you know what it means to be a developing country in a globalizing world, trying simultaneously to manage policy reform and to meet your people's rising aspirations. India understands, because you have lived it yourselves, what it takes to unleash innovation, not only for entrepreneurship, but for social benefit too, and that gives you credibility. Indians are fluent in the language of multicultural acceptance and mutual respect, because across this vast and vibrant land, you speak that language every day. And more importantly, you speak it with humility, which is perhaps your greatest defining feature, one which gives you a clear competitive advantage as you evolve, diversify, and advance. As you gain dominance on the global stage, it is imperative that you hold on to the principles that have guided you thus far, not least of which is the understanding that it is important to be part of the world, not apart from the world. And that regardless of your own size and success, there is always something to learn from others. I know you understand that. In 2003, my country launched the Jordan Education Initiative, the JEI, a bold public-private educational experiment using the latest technology to inspire new ways of teaching and learning, and to prepare our students for the challenges of the 21st century marketplace. With inspiring new e-curriculums, students savvy with new skills, and teachers trained in technology, we are as proud of our record of achievement in Jordan as we are of the fact that Rajasthan has imported the JEI model. Something, I think, which speaks loudly of your openness to new ideas and your willingness to learn from other nations, even small ones. In short, India today has the credibility and humility to exert the kind of leadership that puts people, humanity, and peace at the heart of the world's agenda. I have said in the past that I believe the greatest challenge we face is not religious divides or technology gaps or divisions between the developed and developing world. The greatest challenge we face today is the hope gap that separates people from birth into those who have a future and those who do not. The hope gap opens when our very youngest are denied what they need to thrive: health, nutrition, and literate mothers who can pass that value along. The hope gap widens when school children lack for books, technology, and support, including teachers with training and access to global communication tools. The hope gap is even there for students who manage to reach university, but lack the independent thinking skills our modern world demands. And by adulthood, the hope gap has spread and grown into a chasm into which fall the futures of individuals, communities, and countries alike. The hope gap's toll is cruelest on humanity's youngest citizens. Just think, in the course of the wonderful hour you and I spent together tonight, 1,200 children under the age of 5 will die of preventable causes, perhaps for want of a bed net, or decent nutrition, or a vaccination many families in the developed world take for granted. This is unacceptable. We have to do better. Our hearts and our heads demand it. That is why, though it is fashionable to speak of India as an emerging economic power, I am convinced the world needs you to be a moral power as well. India can play an historic role in narrowing the hope gap, and in so doing, build a brighter future for humanity as a whole. A significant part of India's strength derives from the force of your example. Just months away from the 60th anniversary of your independence, India is proving that democracy and development can go forward hand in hand. You can help other nations find their way through their own democratic transitions and forge a new model for economic growth that emphasizes equity as well. But it is not just through your example at home that we need your moral leadership, because India's voice is heard in the world in a way that smaller nations are not. The world needs India to use its influence to alter the global dialogue and put humanity's concerns at the front and center of the global agenda. From your own history, you know that genuine peace cannot be achieved when human dignity is denied. Likewise, state security is hollow as long as human security is at risk. People need active protection, not only from terrorists' bullets and bombs, but from the hunger, homelessness, and deadly disease that menace their daily survival. India also knows global trade must work for poor countries as well, that developing countries need access to markets and a chance to compete on fair terms. Economists predict that full trade liberalization could lift tens of millions of people from poverty. As a nation that has been active in trade since the dawn of civilization, India can help shape a just and equitable global marketplace for the future. You're also at the vanguard in making life-saving drugs more affordable, and can be a strong force in finding cures for diseases that predominantly afflict the poor. More than that, you are trailblazers in encouraging and empowering grassroots participation in community development, whether that be in job creation, training, or providing essential community services. But perhaps most compelling is the moral power of the idea of India itself, which stands as proof in our turbulent world that dialogue and decency can prevail. Prime Minister Singh has spoken eloquently of India's contribution to the world as the notion of the many-sidedness and constant and continuing discovery of truth. Your inclusive, multicultural, pluralistic society is built on that bedrock belief. In a world of common challenges, common dreams, and common destinies, there can be no us and them. Only by summoning unity from diversity can people hope to move forward together. Like India, Jordan has long been a haven for people of different backgrounds, a crossroads of culture, commerce, and faith, going back to ancient times. And like you, we seek a world of opportunity, equality, and peace. A world where people are free and empowered to make the most of their own lives. In such a world, every child will be nourished and cherished, because every child will belong to us all, and the hope gap will become a hope bridge that the whole human family can cross. Thank you very much.
Your Highness, you're an embodiment of a modern Muslim woman. And unfortunately, you're in a minority. So my question is very simple. How do we create, in the Muslim world, where a lot of women are denied fundamental rights, are not treated as well as they should be, how do we create more women like you in the Muslim world?
First of all, I'd like to emphasize that I am very much a product of the Muslim world and of the Arab world. I was born in the Arab world. I studied in the Arab world, and so I'm very much a product of this world and not very different from many women in the Arab world. When we look at the status of women all over the world, I think it's a global challenge. I know that women here in India as well face many challenges in many other parts of the world. So it's a global problem that needs a global solution. It has many faces in different countries, but the challenge is really to confront some ingrained social attitudes and to challenge some mindsets. In the Muslim world, women are lacking in their rights, and to various degrees, different countries have different status for women. But the problem is not in Islam itself. I think the problem is very much in cultural beliefs and social attitudes.